Hey friends, welcome back to By Its Cover. I'm Leah, and today we're talking about The Remnant series by Mary E. Pearson. Alright, so the Remnant series consists of The Kiss of Deception, which I have just completed, The Heart of Betrayal, which I am in the middle of, and The Beauty of Darkness, which I was going to try to finish before Court of Wings and Ruin shows up, but that's tomorrow, and this is a very large book, so I don't think it's going to happen. The cover design for these was by our good old friend Rich Diaz, who you remember from the Grisha trilogy as well as the Six of Crows duology. He also worked with Anna Booth on just the first two. The art for books 1 and 2 was done by Rodrigo Adolfo, and the art for book 3 was done by Jonathan Barkat. So when I say that they did the art for these, they are compiled of stock photography. This one is all from Trevelyan Images. Trevelyan Images. This one's mostly from Shutterstock, and Beauty and Darkness uses canned stock photography, but the main girl is actually photographed by Jonathan, and that's why he did book 3. I went and found Rodrigo's DeviantArt, and he has a good size photography portfolio there, and you can definitely pick up his style, and I see that reflected a lot in these book covers. It's these like dark landscapes, sometimes with people, and interesting compositions and layouts and points of view, just very strong. And I respect that taking stock photos and just photoshopping it into something new is a skill, and it's hard to do, but it always falls just a little short of like an original photograph or illustration, whatever it may be. The title font is called Orpheus Pro, and it actually can come included with the little extra symbols and swooshes. There's multiple families of the font. There's a slight emboss and a metallic varnish on the title, as well as these sunbursts happening out from around it. Sorry, the light from my window is being annoying. The body copy is Adobe Garamond, like always. The chapter titles are also Adobe Garamond, just in all caps. And whenever you see this sub-chapter title telling you whose point of view it's from, that is in copperplate. I think that they chose some nice stock photography to properly convey the main characters. The story is about a princess who runs away from her arranged marriage, and so that's who we see here. And of course there is a love triangle. It is one of those YA novels. I succumb to them all the time. And there's two figures in the distance behind her. One of them is a man, the other one is actually a woman. It's supposed to be her handmaiden that runs away with her. I'm not sure I quite understand the purpose of the tower in the background, and there's some crows flying around. The landscape for this one is pretty dull. I do like the green tint and just the overall cool colors of the whole series. Book 2 takes place in a city that's built on top of ruins of another city. So once again, good choice for the stock photography. This one I think is more believable because there's no other people in the background. The red dress is a nice contrast to the blue, and moving the title to the top of the book creates a better use of the negative space. Book 3 would be my favorite because of the original photography. It's just so much stronger, tells you more about the character. I obviously don't know what's happening in this one yet, but she's gonna turn into a badass, which I love. The only thing is they use stock photography for the back, and we have an army of people, and they're making some funny faces. It looks kind of like 300, like, it's stock. It's stock. But my absolute favorite part of these books is probably actually the inside end covers, because it's where they've chosen to put the map of the world, and lots of books have maps of the world now, which I appreciate so much because I like to know where we're going and why it took so long to get there. This one just stands out to me more though because it's hand illustrated, but they left it like very sketchy still in the pencil, and it has a brown tint like it was drawn using charcoals or something. I can't remove the flap because it's a library copy, but it's also repeated in the back of the book, so I can still see the other side of the map. So even better choice there. The crests of the 3 kingdoms that are most important are at the bottom, which is cool to see. And I just love these creepy dudes with hoods and chairs. So I have one more critique about these, but I'm going to put in a spoiler warning because it gives a little bit of the plot away. I'm going to try not to reel too much, but it's my one grievance. But it might be my own fault. It's like user experience. If I made a mistake because I couldn't understand what you were trying to do, that's actually your mistake. You should be making it as easy as possible for me to understand. That's what user experience is. So when I said that it switches points of view, when there is no label about whose point of view it is, it's the main female character, and anyone else has their name printed below. Except the 2 males, who are the love triangle, are half of the time referred to by their name and half of the time referred to by their title of either the prince or the assassin. And she meets both of them at the same time. So going off of the context clues of what they look like and scars that they had, I made an assumption about who was the prince and who was the assassin, and then continued reading, and every time they had the name and description that I had matched to the title, that's what I pictured. And then, when we got to halfway through the book, and the reveal who was actually the assassin and who was the prince happened, I had them backwards. And I had to stop, freak out because I thought there was a misprint of huge proportions, go back and reread all the chapters describing what they look like and when they first met, so I could double check if I had read it wrong. And I didn't read it wrong. They don't tell you in the beginning, but they don't not tell you, you know, like, you're supposed to just guess, but I just already had these preconceived stories about each of them, and then I had to break all that down in my head and rematch it to the correct character, which was very difficult. That was like my one issue, and getting past that, the book got much better. I do think that my guess of who was a little more interesting. It would have been harder to work out some problems later on, but I didn't write it. It's not my book. It's fine. This is turning into a review, kind of. I'm sorry. That is going to be my review for now of The Kiss of Deception, aka The Remnant Chronicles. Thanks so much for watching. Hit like and subscribe down below if you haven't already. Go follow me on social media to see more pretty book covers and typography. Start leaving some recommendations about covers you want reviewed down below. And I'll see you next chapter, everyone. Bye!